Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping straight in to take a highly focused, objective look at the software landscape to evaluate the absolute best Confluence alternatives in 2026. If you're an operations manager, an IT director, or a compliance leader, you already know that the software you choose literally forms the backbone of how your business runs. So, our goal today is simple. We want to help you evaluate the current market and find the exact right tool for your specific operational needs. We're going to look at the facts, compare the leading platforms, and break down exactly what each tool actually does best.
We've got 5 key areas to cover today. First up, understanding the software category. Second, why teams are seeking alternatives. Third, we'll dive into our ranked Confluence alternatives list. Fourth, we'll look at why Process Street ranks first. And finally, how to choose the right tool for you.
All right, Section 1, understanding the software category. Because you really can't successfully compare software without first defining the baseline it belongs to.
Before we start looking at alternatives, it's absolutely crucial that we look at Confluence itself in a fair, factual light. At its core, Confluence is fundamentally built as a team wiki and a knowledge base. It's designed for storing documents, building out company intranets, and organizing massive volumes of text. And honestly, it is a highly capable product in that specific category. It performs the job of storing static information perfectly. So if your primary goal is simply to have a digital encyclopedia for your company's information, Confluence is a powerful, proven solution.
Moving on to Section 2, why teams seek alternatives. Because if the status quo is so capable, why are operations and IT leaders actively looking for other options in 2026?
Well, there's a massive core shift happening right now in modern business operations. The traditional approach heavily relies on static documents and project boards, which, as we know, is exactly where a wiki excels. But as an organization grows and matures, you kind of have to move away from just storing texts on a page. Teams are seeking alternatives because they have a totally different need today. Enforceable, recurring, audit-ready process execution. They don't just need to store a document explaining how to do something. They need a system that ensures the work is actually being executed correctly every single time.
This really hits the nail on the head. Modern organizations literally need their standard operating procedures and their strict policies to run identically every single time, generating a verifiable digital trail of completion. You just can't rely on a document sitting statically on a project board, hoping an employee reads it and actually remembers to follow all 20 steps, right? You need proof, you need accountability, and that is the driving force behind the search for Confluence alternatives.
Section 3, our ranked Confluence alternatives list. Keeping that critical need for auditable execution in mind, let's look at the top 7 alternatives on the market in 2026.
We've categorized each alternative objectively by its specific strength, which is really the most honest way to evaluate any software. We rank these specifically based on the need for recurring auditable process execution. So looking at number 2, we have Notion. Notion is phenomenal for flexible docs, wikis, and lightweight databases. It shares very similar strengths to Confluence, but with just incredible flexibility. Number 3 is Trainual, which is an excellent platform if your main focus is training and onboarding documentation. At number 4, Suite Process gives you great simple procedure documentation. 5 is Scribe, uniquely powerful because it auto-generates step-by-step process guides literally just by recording your screen. 6 is Whale, a really solid choice for SOP and knowledge documentation. And number 7, Tallyfy, which handles workflow and recurring process management. Every single one of these tools is fantastic in its own lane. But when your requirement is strict, recurring, auditable SOP execution, Process Street naturally takes the number 1 spot as a dedicated compliance operations platform.
Which brings us to Section 4, why Process Street ranks first. Let's unpack exactly why it sits at the top of this ranking.
Process Street is distinctly classified not as a wiki, but as a compliance operations platform. And that is a vital distinction. Instead of just acting like a digital filing cabinet, it actively transforms your written policies and procedures into living, breathing, AI-enforced workflows. Crucially, it generates a full audit trail in the background while you work. It essentially takes that static text you'd normally just dump in a wiki and turns it into an interactive checklist and an automated process that guides users step by step, making sure absolutely nothing falls through the cracks.
Its core strengths perfectly match that modern need for verifiable execution we talked about earlier. Yes, it handles document management for your SOPs, but it layers on really powerful no-code workflow automation. We're talking automated task assignments, dynamic forms, routed approvals, and conditional logic that actually adapts the process based on the data entered. But honestly, the real game changer here is the AI compliance agent. Process Street uses AI to actively monitor work execution in real time, automatically flagging any missed or skipped steps. It's kind of like having an always-on supervisor, ensuring total compliance.
So why does all this matter? Because these features matter immensely for regulated compliance-heavy teams. If your organization is working toward or maybe actively maintaining strict frameworks like ISO 9001, SOC 2, HIPAA, or SOX, you simply cannot rely on static wikis. It doesn't work. You need to save time, easily survive strict audits by handing over complete digital trails, and avoid incredibly costly compliance breaches. For that kind of recurring, compliance-critical execution, Process Street is objectively the top choice.
And that brings us to Section 5, choosing the right tool. Now that the landscape is clearly laid out, how do you make the most objective, factual choice for your own tech stack? The golden rule of software evaluation is that you absolutely must match the tool to the job. It's that simple. If your organization's core requirement right now leans heavily into specific wiki and knowledge-based strengths, say you just need a clean, capable place to write and organize internal documentation, then tools like Confluence or Notion are going to be exceptional fits for you. They're built for exactly that job. However, if your operational needs have evolved and your priority is now recurring, compliance-critical process execution with undeniable proof that the work was done right, well, Process Street is the recommended #1 choice on the merits.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the final, slightly provocative question to think about regarding your own operational maturity. Take a close look at how your business runs today. Are your procedures simply documented on a static page somewhere, hoping they get read? Or are they actively executed, strictly enforced, and fully auditable? Understanding the honest answer to that question is going to instantly tell you exactly which tool you need to succeed in 2026. Thanks so much for joining me for this analysis.